this episode of TuneLeak TV, I got a bass guitar shootout for you. So what's going on is, after I finished off recording Monsters from the Id, the plan was always to go back to my previous album, Last Chance to Hear, and do a surround 5.1 mix of the album. Now what this means is I'm going to recreate the stereo mix as well, and in doing so I'm going to join some pieces together that were not joined together on the original album. The title track, Last Chance to Hear, there's a part 1 and there's a part 2. On this new version they're going to be pushed together. Only trouble is, part 1 is in the key of D and part 2 is in the key of E. To do this remix, I've got to put part 1 in the key of E, so I've got to push it up a tone. Most of that's pretty easy to do, except I do want to re-record the bass guitar so there's no dodgy pitch artifacts going on. One of the big decisions is which bass to use. Now, I got 3 basses I'm shooting out. I've recorded 3 separate bass guitars. I've mixed them together the way I would mix the album. And now it's a case of deciding which of these 3 basses I or you like the best. So one of them is this thing. This is my go-to 5-string bass guitar. It's a Godin, I think that's how you pronounce it, the BG-V. What's interesting about this is that it has active pickups. It's got EMG active soap bar pickups. I think they're humbucker style pickups. They certainly sound like humbuckers, but they're active and they're super clean. So they're a very good palette for playing any way you want. So this has been my go-to bass on each album, really, because it's my only 5-string. Also in the running is this thing, the Rickenbacker 4001. It's quite a special bass to me because I took this pick guard down to Sydney to see YES, and Chris Squire signed the pick guard. I guess he wasn't sure there was a rest of the bass attached to it. And I've refinished the bass as well into kind of Chris's colours. It is a 1980 or 1981 4001, which means it's not vintage correct Chris Squire 60s bass. It's still got the single coil pickups on it, but not the same toaster pickups, and it's not the same horseshoe magnet pickup. That's just a plastic pickup cover, as was the style at the time. And finally, we've got a Squier classic vibe. I think this is the 50s precision bass. What I love about the early style of the Fender precision bass is the single coil pickup. It's not a humbucker, and just the placement of it. It's a very, very expressive pickup. Literally, it picks up everything. I understand they moved to the traditional Fender P-bass split pickup in later years, A, to get rid of the hum, but B, because the transients on these single coil pickups were so spiky that they would blow bass guitar speakers. Maybe that's an urban myth, I'm not sure. So I played these basses with a pick on this recording. I was after a very, no surprise here, very trebly bass sound to cut through. In all guitars where there are dual pickups, it's on the neck pickup. It's a very kind of trying for a very trebly kind of sound there. So I'm going to play you 3 different versions of Last Chance to Hear, the opening, featuring those 3 basses. We'll shoot them out, and I'll tell you my findings afterwards. I don't know which is going to be which, but there's going to be bass A, bass B, and bass C. could you tell the difference? The biggest thing I took away was in the scope of the mix, given the same player, playing the same style, the basses sound fairly similar, and either of them would be fine for the job. However, there's just one I like more than the others. So here's the reveal. Bass A was the Godin, the active pickups with EMGs. I guess it's kind of easy for me to tell this because it has a slightly more mid-focused sound, even with the pick, and it doesn't quite have the staggering low bottom of the other two bass guitars. But it's a very versatile sound that I can do just about anything with. B was the 50s Precision. I felt slightly more trebly than the Godin 5-string, and slightly beefier down below. And that means that C was the Rick. I actually didn't record as much of the Rick as the other guitars. The reason was, at the time, the neck pickup was a little bit muddy on this bottom string. I think I need to fix the pickup. So my winner was this one, the Precision. That is bass B. It gets close to a Rick sound. It's good enough. It's that trebly sound I like. It's got the extra bit of the beefy bottom end that the Godin doesn't have. And so this is the one that I'm going to be picking for the remix. Your mileage may vary. They all do a great job as far as I'm concerned. And any track on this album remix where I need a fifth string, obviously it's going to be the 5-string. So let me know what you think. Did you guess them? Can you tell the difference? Any strong opinions of one way or the other? Always interesting to know. And now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a remix to keep working on. So talk to you soon.